Hello, everyone. Hello, fellow Martians. All right. So tonight is a very special night because tonight is not a normal community call. So tonight we are not going to basically answer any questions, but this is a AMA session that we have a very mysterious guest with us tonight. So without further ado, welcome everyone. Today is actually our AMA session. So we got an incredible guest with us here. So James, the partner of GC Capital, one of the most innovative names in the blockchain gaming and entertainment. James is also the right-hand man of GC. I believe that everyone knows GC, right? So working and leading Web3 for GC Capital and incubating and shaping the technical side of projects. And also, he is one of M3dao's contributor as well. So in today's AMA, we'll be covering the current state of the crypto market and where it's actually heading, and why meme tokens and GameFi continue to dominate. That's the second topic. The third topic will be the inside track on getting listed on Binance. Okay, that will be very interesting. And the third topic is actually the power of community buildings and its impact on token success. And the final topic that we'll get into, why DAO are reshaping Web3, including a look at how some communities are actually leading the way. So please stick around because this isn't just another AMA. It's actually a roadmap to where the biggest opportunities lie in Web3. Okay, so guys, I want you guys, if anything that you wanted to ask, no worries, because you can always chat us up in Telegram or even in the WhatsApp group. So tonight, I want you guys to focus solely on James. Prepare a paper and pen to write down anything that you can catch on. When you rewatch the recording of tonight, then at least you will know what you missed out on. All right. So without further ado, so James, let's start by introducing Kai. Have you unmuted yourself?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Jensen. Can you hear
All right.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Awesome.
Yeah,
So, Kai,
let's keep it casual. Let's keep it conversational. You know, it's a weeknight still. I
uh-huh.
want everyone to enjoy their time. So if you don't want to take notes, you don't have to take notes. But and yeah, glad to chat again, man. We haven't caught up in a while.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. So, James, why not let's start by introducing your background and why from a lawyer, okay? And you choose to be in Web3 and what actually inspired you?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it's great to be back and speaking to you guys. You know, I've done a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm definitely contributing to M3dao, but just for some of you that don't know my work and how I've been involved with M3 and GC Capital so far. I've known GC for a while. We've worked together on a bunch of ventures and we're close friends. Um, I'm as Jensen said, I've got a legal background. And I transitioned more into the project management and operations side of Web3, especially on the venture capital side. So that means we're taking money, whether that comes from family offices or investors or DAOs like yourself, and kind of aggregating this and deploying it into smart investments. And this is something that's very common in Web3. A lot of people are successful in this, a lot of people are unsuccessful in this. And over the last years in Web3, it's something that has developed as a true industry and career rather than just people putting money into tokens 8 years ago. So now there's a lot of VCs. There is a lot of venture capital firms raising money. Um, some say millions and millions and billions of dollars that are flowing into this new tech. And a lot of people here were probably around for the internet craze and the dot-com bubble back in the 90s. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of startups pop up in a very similar fashion. But anyway, a background about me, I've been in this industry from day one. You know, I went straight from um, working in restaurants as my high school and university job straight into a career in blockchain and crypto and Web3. And I've been in this industry for about 8 years now. I worked in crypto all throughout my university studies in law and decided to pursue this as a career full time because I believe that uh, we're looking at something that could potentially be the future of finance. I've had various roles in the space. I started out at one of the biggest exchanges in the world right now. I was one of the first employees at Bybit, which a lot of you might know and use for your trading. But this gave me a really good insight to the industry to start off and grew very quickly into multiple business development roles where I saw a lot of projects go to market. I saw a lot fail, I saw a lot succeed, and it gave me a great insight into the investment side of things. So now GC and I work together. We contribute as much as we can on the partnership side of M3, whether it's bringing new projects, new tech, new opportunities to the community, or just collaborations and promotions. We do a lot of promotions and giveaways over on Twitter on M3 and GC Capital. And I've also been doing a lot of work on the ground, attending these events, raising the publicity of GC Capital. Um, we traveled quite a lot last year, across 30 countries, I believe, and I know Jensen's been traveling a lot as well, to really foster the growth of M3. So it's cool to see a group of 200 people in here today and chat to you guys about what's going on behind the scenes. You know, GC Capital is also a big tech provider for M3. We're very involved with the metaverse and the blockchain, which is something that has been teased to you guys, but it's coming very soon. So very excited to get into this chat, Jensen. I hope that wasn't too detailed.
No, no, it's all right. I appreciate every single word that you just said. So now, most of our DAO community have a better understanding of who is actually behind the DAO. So why not? Let's begin with the first topic today. All right. So we are talking about the current market view. Let's start with the bigger picture. So the market has been unpredictable lately. So are we seeing the start of a bull run, or this is just another wave of volatility? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a very common question at the moment. You know, are we at the end? Are we at the start? Where are we? Obviously, Trump just got elected in America. That's meant to be the big start of this big bull run. Um, so I think the best way to look at this is to break it down into segments and cycles, right?
Mhm.
There's phases in the market. Some are very bullish, phases of growth. We saw a lot of that last year. Bitcoin hit $100,000 for the first time. Actually, it was quite a huge moment for us in the industry. And yeah, we saw massive pumps in the market. So right now the market's quite sad, and it has been for about a month. I believe we're in a recovery phase, but market cycles, we can pin one thing to market cycles. They're heavily influenced by macroeconomic factors,
Mhm.
whether this is institutional adoption, whether this is regulations, Bitcoin halving cycles, um, which means that the supply of Bitcoin that is available to be mined and to the public is diminishing and getting more scarce, which increases the value of the asset. There's a lot of things that play into this. And I would say that although the market is fluctuating a lot, it's very common that we see these types of 20%, 10% pullbacks in the market throughout a phase like this. I personally believe there's about 6 months to a year left in this market to build to be bullish. Um, but as I said, market's very volatile throughout. And we've seen a lot of increased institutional interest in crypto in the last year,
Mhm.
whether this is BlackRock filing for ETFs, Visa integrating payments. It's massive validation for the space.
Yeah,
And
true.
Ethereum ETFs are next. When that happens, we're expecting a lot of these internal sub-industries in the community to do perform really well. And some of those are GameFi's and MemeFi tokens that you mentioned, which we'll get into in a little bit. Um, but the projects that survive these cycles are the ones that are built on strong communities and genuine user bases and have people backing them and behind them, which is why DAOs have such an important role and which is why we support M3dao so much.
Thank you, James. So you mentioned institutional adoption as like major market driver, right? So what signal should retail investor be watching?
There are a lot of signals. A lot of people focus on technical signals for trading. I think that approval of ETFs is really important to analyze how this affects the market, the inflows and outflows and volumes. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had the biggest liquidation event in cryptocurrency history. It was billions and billions of dollars. It was bigger than the liquidation event in 2021 when FTX, one of the biggest exchanges in the space, crashed.
Mhm.
And although this happened, Bitcoin only saw, I think it was a 5% dip. And this means that a lot of people are holding throughout these events. That's one fundamental factor. There's also a lot of tech advancements. I spoke about startups getting launched left, right, and center in the space. We're seeing a lot of new infrastructure, and even with the integration of AI, I believe that these are going to play a big role in the speculation in the retail speculation of the market, which means it'll drive new people to visit, which could play a bullish role as well in raising prices. And I'm seeing a big resurgence in DeFi. I'm seeing institutions slowly getting into DeFi, getting into RWAs, which is real world asset tokenization. As I mentioned, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Citibank are already experimenting with DeFi.
Mhm.
And this is bullish news for the community. Why? Because it means there's more adoption and it validates the concept of cryptocurrency even more. I believe there's a strong narrative that the community uh, doesn't really believe in the tech yet, but since these large hedge funds and companies are starting to slowly adopt the tech in a safe way, it's a sign of validation.
Yeah, cool. So some believe like macro trends, right? So it's like inflation and interest rates will like weigh on crypto. So how do you see it?
Yeah, interesting one. So I think we can separate this into short-term and long-term timeframes, right? Short-term macro definitely matters. Higher interest rates means less risk appetite.
Yep.
Long term, I see that crypto is decoupling, and this is something that GC and I discuss in depth a lot. Bitcoin and its correlation to financial assets is weakening as adoption grows, which means that Bitcoin is less likely to follow traditional assets now. It still does. After the announcement of the new American administration,
Mhm.
we saw dips across all asset classes. However, Bitcoin is not correlating as much as it used to. The market doesn't really work for anyone in particular. The big players are already positioning themselves, and retail comes after the big players, right?
Mhm. Yep.
We're still in the early phase, and those who understand these macro trends will be the ones who are placed in the best position to benefit from them financially and adoption wise, in my opinion.
Awesome. So basically, the market doesn't wait for anyone here. All right. So the big players are already positioning themselves. Retail is definitely next. That's what James has shared with us. So yeah, basically, this is our time. So we'll go into the second topic today. Thank you, James, for your view on the current market trend. So just wondering why meme tokens? A lot of our community members, seriously, they don't understand what meme token is, and they are asking us why are we incubating projects like ERT, like loser chick? Why are we going into meme tokens, and why do meme tokens work?
Yeah, interesting. So this is a common question we get as well with even Web2 hedge funds and family offices that have billions of dollars under management and don't really understand what's happening in the market. And luckily, I'm in the trenches every day, seeing these kind of things grow and get destroyed. And meme tokens are now a very large part of the industry. Actually, I'd say they're the core driver of the industry in the past year. They're no longer just joke coins. They represent community. They represent combining a group of people together to achieve a certain goal. And we've seen meme coins be worth billions and billions of dollars over the last year. The first meme coin was something that very bullish on. I've got it up in the background. It's called Dogecoin,
Yeah.
founded by Australians. That's why it's so close to my heart. But that's worth $35 billion,
Mhm.
I believe. I could be wrong, but it's around that range. Um, that's a proof of concept that when enough community is driven to a core financial vehicle like this, then anything is possible. Um, Now Doge is commonly used as a pay-fi currency,
Mhm.
right? So we're seeing utility added to these meme tokens. We're seeing staking. We're seeing gaming integrations. We're seeing DAO governance, which empowers the holders to be able to vote on a certain thing that the meme community is doing. So a lot of this is driven by influences and culture and something traditional that it's something that finance traditionally cannot replicate.
True that. So some say that meme coin is just gambling. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's bringing a lot of money into the space, so I'm happy about that. It's keeping our jobs, right? But meme coins are also bringing millions of retail users into crypto, and many of whom are later after their initial adoption through meme coins are going to explore GameFi and DeFi. And that's the real benefit of meme coins to the space, right? We're seeing network effects, we're seeing Dogecoin, we're seeing SHIB, we're seeing Pepe thrive because of their cult-like communities, and we're
Mhm.
seeing a utility shift. New meme tokens integrate staking, they're integrating DeFi, and Tesla now accepts Dogecoin.
Yeah, true.
And Tesla was accepting Dogecoin last cycle for a little bit.
Mhm.
Robinhood's accepting cryptocurrencies and meme tokens as well.
Mhm.
The question is whether meme tokens are legitimate and whether the community is uh, is banded enough together to carry the token to further heights.
Understood.
And yeah, and in reality, memes move markets. Um, and if you're going to ignore them, that's at your own risk, but they're making generational wealth at the moment.
True, true. Because currently now, if based on what you just explained, meme coin is actually a vehicle, I would say, to get the mass adoption into Web3. Can we say that?
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's a blockchain called Solana. I believe it's the eighth biggest token by market cap.
Mhm.
And pre-meme tokens, this blockchain was getting no use. Now it's the biggest blockchain in the world by volume just because of meme coins.
True. So with all these big influencers, example like just now you just mentioned Tesla. So like Elon Musk is pushing meme tokens. So do you think that they will ever be like be taken seriously?
When Doge gets integrated into society, which is actually something we're personally working on at GC Capital with a new project. We'll get into that soon.
Mhm.
But um, yeah, 100%. If enough community uh, can get around one thing, the possibilities are endless. People are now saying USD is a meme coin, right? Because of the inflation mechanics and the Ponzi mechanics and how much USD is created. It's the same goes for an on-chain currency. So
Mhm.
when adoption is there, for example, Dogecoin, the possibilities are endless.
All right, thank you. So let's go into another topic because since both ERT and also Chick, Loser Chick is actually both meme and also GameFi tokens. Now we'll touch on GameFi tokens. So GameFi was supposed to be like the future of Web3 gaming, but adoption slowed now recently, all right? And is the hype coming back?
Yeah, 100% the hype's coming back. We saw a lot of these games launched last cycle, right, had major issues. Most of these games were launched on Ethereum. They had high gas fees. Interacting with these games was really slow. The games were of poor quality and mainly just not high quality games, right? The other thing is that these games were all launching tokens themselves and they had unsustainable tokenomic models, which is
Mhm.
something we're also focused on developing at GC Capital.
Mhm.
We're seeing a shift towards real gaming experiences. I know a couple of AAA studios now entering Web3. There's layer two solutions worth billions of dollars that are lowering costs and specifically optimized for gaming and NFTs. Now there's tokens with real in-game utility, such as reward mechanisms and PvP mechanics.
Mhm.
And I'm seeing AI also merge with GameFi, and it's allowing for more dynamic and evolving games that adapt to player behavior.
All right.
There's going to be another GameFi boom, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I
Basically,
believe, I fully believe.
basically, I'll just do a simple explanation what PvP means. So it's player versus
Sure.
player. All right, guys. So PvP means player versus player. So, all right. So the biggest GameFi project in 2021 to 2022 failed to sustain growth. So what changed?
What's changed is people are understanding tokenomics better. Projects are moving from inflationary rewards. They're moving away to build more sustainable in-game economies. I think the game cycle was based a lot on NFTs last time,
Yes.
whereas this time they're based more on real dynamic assets that are integrated into the game properly. We're seeing a lot more quality. We're seeing companies like Ubisoft, Square Enix, Epic Games move into bringing AAA quality games into Web3.
Mhm.
And I think it expands a lot more beyond player ownership now. There is a lot more utility in these games. There is a lot more integration, and we're finally seeing the reality of what these games can be on chain.
All right. So what do you think on GameFi tokens? How can they maintain the real value beyond play to earn?
Yeah, so an example someone gave me a couple of years ago was this. There's an app called Strava.
Mhm.
It's a it's an application that tracks your how far you run or how far you walk.
Mhm.
Um, Strava was worth $1.2 billion dollars at their last raise, I believe. These numbers could be wrong. There was also a game called Steppen last cycle. It was a move to earn where players were rewarded for buying NFT shoes and and they were rewarded in the Steppen token, right? And
Mhm.
Steppen was worth $19 billion dollars at its peak.
Mhm.
Um, Although Steppen had 90% less users than Strava. So
Uh-huh.
the value of having an in-game economy is provably very important. It means that games can host economies within their applications. It means that people can transfer tokens and money and through people. People can um, bet on certain aspects of the game. So having a token within your game makes the economy a lot more scalable, makes the economy a lot more legitimate, and allows each user to truly own their assets. So I also see gaming as a core adoption mechanic of Web3, and I think the future of gaming is Web3 because it gives you freedom to own these assets.
True. Okay. Thanks for your overview on GameFi. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty. So how to get listed on Binance? I believe that a lot of
Binance really,
people, yeah.
yeah, sure.
So actually, what does it really take? Because a lot of community members doesn't really understand on how to actually list a project on exchange.
Yeah, there is a lot of factors that go into listing projects on exchanges. I think that the first thing to note is that Binance is the largest exchange, and to get your token adopted properly by retail, it's like listing on the New York Stock Exchange, right? It's the biggest market there is
Mhm.
in terms of liquidity, in terms of buyers. Binance doesn't really just look at volume of a token. They want to they want to see strong communities. They want to see strong user counts. They want to see a bunch of factors that contribute to these key reasons why Binance will adopt more users, will adopt more volume, and therefore generate more revenue.
Mhm.
And not many projects do make it to the upper ranks of exchanges. There is three or four tier one exchanges, the biggest being Binance. And if you do get there, it means you made it.
Mhm.
So it is really difficult. There's a lot of due diligence factors. The team has to have a very strong background. But yeah, definitely, definitely something that we'd be looking to do with one of our projects here at GC Capital and for M3dao as well. And we've definitely been in talks. You know, GC used to work at Binance. We've
Mhm.
definitely got the connections there. It's about driving the adoption and getting the community together to make it happen.
Awesome. So everyone knows by how to say Binance listing creates massive hypes. So what are the top mistake projects can make when applying?
The top mistakes, um, they expand everywhere from faking volume, faking transactions, not having any traction, ignoring the proper compliance that you need to be able to list a token. For example, exchanges won't list a token that's considered a security.
Mhm.
Um, a security is often seen in the format of shares of a company. So you've got to be very careful to make sure that your token is a utility token and not a security. And there's a lot of other factors that can go wrong as well. I'd say mainly the distribution is the most important, which is something that M3 is very strong at, driving the distribution of products and tokens. And I'd say that we're definitely on the right track.
Okay, thank you. So I believe that now all our community members are very happy listening to that. So just wondering, what a role do DAO and also a governance model play in securing a Binance listing?
Yeah, so there are a lot of DAO tokens already listed on Binance, and these DAOs are homes to treasuries of billions of dollars, right? Um, One thing they look at for DAOs is real community distribution. So lots of holders of the tokens and
Mhm.
long-term sustainability. So this long-term sustainability might involve some sort of locking investing mechanism. It might involve some sort of corporate and business models. So or the creation of an ecosystem under a DAO token.
Mhm.
Um, DAO models have an edge because they align with Binance's vision of decentralized ecosystems, right?
Mhm.
But it doesn't just happen. It's a strategy. You have to prepare correctly. You have to work for years. And the ecosystems that do achieve this goal are ones that win.
Awesome. So then that's mean that it's very important to actually build community, right? So since crypto is about tech, but the biggest projects are all the community driven. So why is community everything in the Web3 world?
It's all about adoption, right? So a strong community means instant network effects. It means viral marketing. It means sustainable adoption. Traditional businesses even focus on customers. You know, we've always heard stuff like the customer is always right, the customer's first. Crypto projects should focus on communities in the same way. Web3 is about ownership and dispersing this ownership against a decentralized community. Um, and we're able, with tokens mechanics, we're able to create an environment where users aren't just participants, but they are stakeholders, right? DAOs take this even further because instead of centralized decision making over the treasury, the community drives the growth as a whole, which separates DAOs from something like a decentralized exchange or product.
Awesome. But many projects focus on marketing but fail at the end to build a real community. What's the difference?
Yeah, marketing gets a lot of attention, but communities keep people engaged. So something that we've seen that separates M3dao from a lot of the other communities in the space is that the community is really engaged. There's lots of events, in-person events, like the ones Jensen hosts. There's lots of education events that keep the engagement high amongst the communities, and there's also spaces like this. And it's impossible to bot these kind of things. You know, it's impossible to bot these kind of intimate Zoom experiences. So every one of you knows that you're interacting with a true community here. Whereas on socials, there's lots of marketing, there's lots of likes, there's lots of retweets, there's lots of videos with lots of views. We can't guarantee that's real. So the adoption's in the numbers. You can see it all on chain. Um, and yeah, it's all about keeping a community engaged, which I think you guys have done very well.
Thank you. So how can the project measure community success beyond just Telegram and Discord numbers?
As I said, on-chain activity, the amount of token holders, staking participation, governance votes, and referrals and more. There's more to marketing in this space than metrics. Likes, Telegram numbers are mainly just vanity metrics. If there's a lot of activity in your community, that's fantastic. But the real way to grow is to have in-person, real relationships with your community. So another metric we talk about is retention rate. How long can we keep a community member or a DAO member engaged? And the more they contribute, it becomes the whole ecosystem becomes way more valuable than an inactive one, right? There's a lot of emphasis on community-driven growth, and successful projects scale naturally through community referral mechanisms and having a stake in the project.
Awesome. So since we are talking about community now, let's go into the last topic today, which is talking about a DAO. So we're seeing DAO take over the Web3 governance. So what makes a DAO so successful? You have touched
Yeah, interesting question. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mechanics that make a DAO more successful than a typical crypto project, right? Or a startup. Um, a DAO is almost like taking a company public, but instead it's a lot more liquid and less manipulated, and the shareholders have more of a say. There's no board of directors. The shareholders, the token holders, become the board of directors, right? There is a lot of power given to the community in the form of decentralized decision making. No single entity controls the direction of the company, which dilutes a lot of the power and is good for the purpose of decentralization, right? The best DAOs offer real incentives, real governance, real revenue sharing, influence over the project growth, which I think M3dao does very well. It's an example of a DAO that has real traction. It has a real community-driven model. It definitely has members that are aligned in terms of incentives and a clear strategy for onboarding new projects. You know, we have done a lot of the technical infrastructure for the projects, the payment projects, the metaverse that is incoming soon, the launchpad, and we're seeing a lot of community adoption from these already. And that's the future of Web3. It's not DeFi, it's not fake vanity metrics, it's not dependent on low tier exchange listings. It's dependent on a community-driven ecosystem.
All right. So basically, this is all our question for you today. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thanks for your time for being here with us. Guys, as James said, that currently we are already planning to fly to Dubai on the 17th of February, which we will start basically our first event in Dubai on the 18th of February. So I'll see you guys soon, very, very soon in Europe. So thanks, James.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Hope to see you guys soon.
Yes, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Enjoy your Hong Kong trip. Because you need to fly there, right?
Yeah. We're attending a couple of events there, and it should be really fun. You'll probably see some photos and stuff. We're also going over to the US for Denver over there, so that should be a really good insight into the US market as well.
Awesome, awesome. So I'll see you then. Have a safe
Okay,
trip.
fantastic. See you later, Jess.
Bye, James.
Bye.
So this is all for tonight. Thank you, guys. And we are going to have more sessions like this, and we are inviting some of the partners that GC Capitals have and also M3dao have, and we are inviting them for calls like this. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.